Specifically, I've been working off of Ben's brief for GE Capital and how we can reinvent GE Capital, not only the website as we think about it traditionally, but also the social channels that are involved in GE Capital. Some of the things that Ben talked about that were specifically relevant to Federated Media was using American Express Open Forum as a kind of a best-in-class example of a publishing platform or just a brand platform in general. That's a platform that we, of course, are the publisher for. So with Federated Media, just to give you a little bit more of a background on who we are, we really have two sides of our business. And we like to think of ourselves as a next-generation publishing or media company. And the two sides really revolve around a partner and publish model. We believe the web will continue to disintermediate traditional media companies. And because of that, we aren't so interested in owning and operating the assets of publishing brands, but we are deeply interested in partnering and publishing with the best independent publishing brands out there. So on the traditional media side, we really sell two things. One is what we call social ad products on conversational and highly influential sites, as well as sort of overall just content sponsorships. That's more the traditional side of the media business. What I want to talk to you about today more about, and what I think Ben is specifically interested in, is talking more about our publishing side of the business. That's platforms like American Express Open Forum, platforms like Exec Tweets from Microsoft, platforms like Intel with My Life Scoop. A couple more just highlighted points on us. 79 million global uniques in ComScore, 34 million in the US in terms of our overall extended reach across the properties that we do represent. We were Avenue A's Razorfish's Publisher of the Year, and I don't believe this slide isn't updated, but we were also the IAB Sales Excellent Award winner as well, from I think the best newcomer perspective. So talking specifically about publishing and how we think about publishing. This is the term database of intentions comes from John Battelle, who's actually the founder and CEO of Federated Media. He wrote a book about 6 years ago now called The Search, which was all about what he coined the database of intentions, this concept of Google allowing all consumers to declare intent in search, that they were declaring what they wanted. And of course, via the engine, via search, this was all trackable. This is all something that we could watch. Search was the first major shift online that really allowed marketers and publishers to really need to change their business. It was a massive change agent, so to speak. It allowed marketers to really target customers. It allowed publishers, especially independent publishers, to gain distribution they didn't have before through traditional means. We're now in the second great change agent, and this is why John's slide is now updated from a database of intentions model, and that's social media. And how we're declaring our intent online continually, not just through our social graph on platforms like Facebook, but also location-based platforms like Gawala or Foursquare, also in other platforms like Status Update, like we think about as Twitter. So these are major agents of change, allowing us to rethink, again, the opportunity that we once had with search, we now have with social. So we think the answer for GE Capital, and I think it also addresses a lot of what we're looking at here with General Electric specifically, is the idea of a model where your currency, as you defined it, your unique permission that you have online, is to actually become a publisher. Because we think that online, more than anything, all great brands have the opportunity to really be a publisher. But not in a more traditional sense or how we've thought about it in the past. So when we originally thought about the web, we thought about this hub and spoke model, right? We'd create a website or a microsite, and then we'd drive traffic to it. Drive traffic to the home page. It could be big and beautiful and flashy, and that's how we thought about traditionally creating websites. Now we're thinking more and more, and even to your brief, about social channels, right? Or a more decentralized emphasis on using social as a way to think about more of a decentralized marketing strategy. Where we see the web going, and really what we think of as we want to think about a publishing model, is more of a distributed model. One where we are wherever our consumers are, we're creating that content, we're allowing people to take that content, amplify that content, and actually create their own experience. And General Electric or GE Capital can be there with their consumers, with their business owners as they travel across the web. Just real quickly, the quiz would be, do you know what this model or schematic represents, being from GE and the art of innovation that you guys are? This is this is the model I ripped from Wikipedia, actually, which is the overall basis of DARPANet, or the internet, how it was created in the Eisenhower administration under DARPA. They, of course, had the major problem of a centralized communication strategy that, of course, wouldn't compete against the Russians or the former Soviet Union, and they had to create, essentially, a distributed communications platform. That distributed communications platform, of course, became the internet, and one of the main reasons why we're all here. So from a more of a tactical approach, when we think about GE Capital, when we think about the actual publishing plan we can put together, and how we want to think about having a core understanding of who your target is, we want to be able to track and analyze the conversations. As was said earlier in the previous presentation, there are these conversations that are being had. We have the ability to track them via open APIs, via listening engines, right? So we can map those important industries like aviation that we know are really important to your overall business. We can then, of course, have a relationship from a partner and publish model. We can actually create a partnership with these influencers, have them create content, have them create some sort of partnership with GE as you're looking to build your voice online. And then finally, as you think about your voice, you do have a distinct voice, you do have a unique voice. More and more consumers want to hear from brands, they trust brands, and you have the expertise. You have billions and millions of dollars in business and expertise in finance, and it's your opportunity, your unique permission to really share that. From FM's side, we want to think about it from a technology perspective and what we can do to map to those core tenets to allow you to create a publishing plan. We have 3 major pieces of technology that we use in publishing to define any platform and how we take a go-to-market strategy. The first is Pulse Engine. That's our ability to listen and actually create lists of people that we think are in your core segment, what they're talking about, and then, of course, create and procure content around that. Second, we look at Program Rank, which is our ability to analyze and monitor influencers and create the ability to actually run a program with them or create a contract with them. And then finally, Content Stamp is our ability to distribute that content to the rest of the web. And then, of course, we don't want to leave out the fact that all publishing, as we see it, is not just brand awareness, not just creating a platform that can be worked on from a brand perspective, but also we're always looking to use content as a vehicle to drive people further down the funnel to, of course, where you guys have unique permission and really identity and the permission to be a publisher of the kind of content that we know people are looking for. Finally, just to highlight some of the overall technology and why we think we're the best partner for your publishing strategy. Thank you. I'm 47 seconds over, so I apologize.
That was really good. That was really, really good, because you're hitting all those different things I'm worried about and I think about all the time, which is we used to be a traditional sort of publishing company. We target a couple of journalists in trade publications and hope that we get some coverage out of us. This has changed now. You're talking about decentralized model. We start targeting bloggers and other influencers, which is exactly what I've got in my mind. You talk about social media currency. Again, this is something I got in my mind as well. What is it that we have will make us interesting for people to come to the website and engage in? And I think you talk about this, the fact that we do things like other banks will not finance, like energy, healthcare, aviation, all those different things is a currency, and how we're going to use that currency to get people to visit and talk about us. I think it was a very strong presentation. Thank you.